Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to do a video talking about toxic shipping and how everybody's had enough of shippers and you need to stop it.
Yeah, there are limits.
There are limits to the shipping, and it's starting to get really creepy and weird, and a lot of people are calling shippers out, including Jacksepticeye. And you sent me the video link to his rebuke.
Well, actually, Mick Shorker posted it on Twitter, and I saw it, and I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, so this is pretty interesting. There are some headlines out here talking about this situation and how creeped out he is that YouTubers are being shipped.
Can't blame him.
You're not allowed to be friends. You can't just be friends anymore. You got to be having sexual
I've been saying
relations.
this for a long time, that you're no longer allowed to just have friends. That obviously means if I'm going out with my girlfriends, it's because we're all having a wild orgy or something.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and we're going to talk about that. And we get, I would say, a lot of the pushback that we get, even being pretty small YouTubers, comes from shippers who don't like videos that we've done about cartoons.
Mostly,
yeah, it's stupid. It's so stupid. So before we get into it, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We're over 170,000 subs. Thank you. Nowhere near what Jacksepticeye has, but we'll take it. We're very happy with our followers.
But I'm going to back him up on what he's saying here, because I think he's right.
Absolutely. So, yeah, he put this video out, and I guess it was Mick Shork who reposted it, but he was talking about how, he's been shipped with his friend Markiplier, and it's kind of freaking creepy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so apparently Corpse Husband, and I think it's Sykkuno. I don't watch Sykkuno. I am aware of Corpse Husband, but they're being shipped now in fan art and stuff. And Jacksepticeye said it's really effing creepy.
It is.
He said he shared his honest opinion on the practice of shipping real people. He drew from his own experiences when fans used to ship him and good friend Markiplier Fishbaugh. He said that it gets creepy. He stated, in his opinion, things always tend to get sexual.
It does.
Which makes things awkward between two good friends.
You're not allowed to be friends with people. I mean, there already was the issue where you couldn't be friends with people that were not the same gender as you, because even if you can be, that's the whole thing's a lie. You can totally be friends, but people always take it to mean that, oh, well, you're hanging out with so and so an awful lot, must be cheating on your wife, he he he, or cheating on your husband, he he he, and they always make it out to be some kind of relationship that it's not. They had that. And okay, so that was already like, oh, you shouldn't do that. Now we got to the place where you can't even have friends of the same gender as you. You can't have friends in general, because they're going to ship those friends with you as well, because they're weird and they feel like they have to romanticize everything. And if you don't like it, you're the istophobe. How very dare you?
Well, that's what he was saying in the video. He said that people were calling him, homophobic and all that. It's like, dude's my friend. I like, remember when guys used to have just friends?
The girls used to have just friends that were girls?
Yeah, and that's not, I mean, the only thing I can think is a lot of these people are socially damaged, and they don't understand that you can have healthy platonic relationships with people of the same gender, like humans have been doing for millions of years.
I know, right? Or like, we see this with like TV shows and cartoons a lot, like Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. That comes to mind right off.
Yeah.
They were friends. They had the girls' night, and now they're girlfriends in every show. But it's one thing to be fictional characters. It's another thing when it's somebody's actual life.
Yeah.
And it's creepy, people.
Yeah, it is. But it is that cartoon shipping culture, and we're going to talk a little bit about that is creeping into the real world. I mean, there's some really weird stuff. I know The Odd Ones Out, the animator, he found some slash about him from like some 14-year-old on Wattpad, and he did a video about it, and it was creepy. I mean, it is creepy. It's not a compliment. I'm sorry. It's not a compliment to have people do this.
No.
So this is what he said. He said, guys, can we please not ship people together again? Can we not do that? Can we leave that in 2015 and 2016? Let it stay dead and buried?
Amen. Especially
real life people. He's not saying not cartoon characters. He's saying especially real life people, because it's weird. And you know what always happens? It always gets sexual every time. Speaking about his own experiences, Jacksepticeye reflected when fans used to bombard him with fan art based on him and Markiplier. I had it happen with me and Mark. I didn't like it. I said, please don't make it sexual. And then people made it more sexual. Well, you can't tell people not to.
Yeah, I know. When you do that, they're going to do it.
Like, oh, now we're going to put more penis in it. Thanks, Jack.
Yeah.
When I said I didn't like it, people said I was homophobic for saying I didn't want to be shipped with my male friend. It just gets weird. Don't do it. Well, yeah, because guys are hanging out and you're like, so did you see that fan art of me and you together? Yeah, I can't unsee that.
Yeah, it's got to make it weird with your friendship, too. I mean, it's like, actually, though, you'd probably be like, I was mad because your penis was drawn bigger than mine or something like that. But, it's weird. And it's going to be uncomfortable. And it's going to make it weird between friends. And it's not cool. And you shouldn't do it. And I'm sorry. People, like I said, this isn't like characters. We always saw, like, throughout, for decades, people can't separate reality from fiction. We've seen it with celebrities. People get killed or people show up at their house or different things because people can't separate that, their character from the actor. A lot of people reported, like I know that the people from The Office were saying that when they'd show up with somebody, their own spouse, people would be mad because they thought they were cheating on the other the other character from the show. And it's like, but that's a character. And we see this happen a lot. People just think that, they don't understand these actors are actors. They aren't actually those people. So that's on one hand. And now you have real people who aren't even actors, and then they can't separate it even more. And it's getting ridiculous.
It is. And the shipping culture has got to, it's got to stop. I mean, this has been going on for years now, and it started out innocently enough.
I agree with this.
Yeah, there's straight man. Straight man, do not effing disrespect somebody's sexuality for your own personal desire. That's disgusting.
Because if you had couples that were, say they were a gay couple, right? And people made them straight, oh, they'd be losing their shit all over the place. How dare you, make these guys straight when they're clearly gay? You shouldn't do that. That's not right. But they have no problem doing it the other way. And if you say something about it, that's because you're just against gay people. Yeah. No, it's because I think it's stupid. I don't want to see you shipping me with my friend. It's like, it makes it creepy.
It does make it really creepy. And I sure as hell don't want to see you shipping me with you either. Not you, but like, that I've seen that too.
Oh,
like,
please don't give me ideas.
Here's my OC with you. And it's like, no, just stop.
Because Geeky's OC is going to come in and kick some ass.
Yeah, she kicks ass in every form, for sure. I can't blame him. He said he's thinking about quitting YouTube. I can't blame him. I mean, I think there's a lot more to it than that, but I'd just be like, I got my money. I got my millions of dollars. I'm only 30 years old. I don't have to deal with these weird people.
It's getting worse and worse. I mean, it's getting worse and worse. You can't even have fun anymore because anything that's fun or anything is marked is problematic unless you're doing it the way that these wackadoos on Twitter and stuff want it to be. This small vocal minority go around trying to cause as much trouble as possible for people. It's ridiculous. I'm just tired of it.
Well, we've talked about these articles before. Geek Dad put a great article out there, and I'd recommend to anybody if you want to kind of understand shipping and where it came from. And it did seem to originate with Cartoon Fandoms. Cartoon Fandoms originally like on LiveJournal and then over on Tumblr and DeviantArt. And now on Twitter. Twitter is like ground zero for this shipping. And it does seem to be like Cartoon Fandom moving into the real world now. But they put this great article out there a couple years ago, Sean Z, talking about DreamWorks and how volatile things got with Voltron because the shippers were not getting their ship. Now, what happened was...
But there were several ships.
Yeah.
So, I mean, one in particular, but you're always going to make somebody unhappy. There's always going to be somebody who can't separate reality from fiction that's going to get mad because their personal ship didn't happen. Didn't sail.
Yeah, right. So they're talking about Clance that did not happen.
That was the big one, yeah.
That was the big one. There were death threats over it to the showrunners. And then you have, the opposite with Netflix She-Ra, where the entire show was just ship bait. It was all designed.
I'm sorry.
It was designed to be ship bait.
It was designed by, fanfic shippers for shippers.
So this is what they said out on Geek Dad. And again, I highly recommend this article. It's one of our go-tos when trying to understand these people because it's really hard to understand. But they said it's a term these toxic members of fandom wear proudly, despite its association with combative behavior. Anti-shippers appear to be a response to, among others, change in how fans interact online. As fans moved from sites like LiveJournal, where content was opt-in, to Tumblr, where content is opt-out, the method in which fans consume content changed. Thanks to the antis, the old adage of early fandom, don't like it, don't read, that meaning that you avoid content and opinions on it, has been replaced with discourse, death threats, and violence.
And if you don't like something, you get the exact same thing as we have had happen.
Right. And I'll talk about that because we get threats all the time. And I'd say 95% of those threats are from shippers who don't like our hot takes because it always comes after a video talking about a cartoon show.
Didn't even have to be a video. I had a tweet someone was talking about Kippo and the Wonder Beast, and they had a prom thing again. And I was like, oh my God, what is it with these people in prom? All I said. And from that, apparently in the episode, there were 2 guys that went to prom, which I didn't even know. And then because of that, I was getting like all kinds of messages from people, which we actually posted on Twitter, but talking about how I'm against gay people and I'm against this, that, and the other. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I think you guys are overusing prom as a trope. Woo-wee. You know, it was ridiculous.
It's gotten worse, and now it's bleeding into shipping.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I just got this one the other night.
A different one, but yeah.
We get these all the time. People don't understand. Like, they're like, oh, you're showing the receipts. I'm like, and they're shocked. I'm like, you have no idea what our DMs look like. You have no idea what I pour through in the inbox for our business account.
Mm-hmm. They send them to our business account.
Yeah, and they always use a fake email address.
Because they're a bunch of cowards.
Because they're cowards, but they just want us to, go effing die. And it always comes after a cartoon video. Mm-hmm. Always. They won't leave a comment, or sometimes they do, but they get YouTube will delete the comment or whatever. But then they go and they decide they're going to harass us in email or harass us on other social media. And for the most part, we ignore it, laugh it off. But,
we just laugh at it, put it up on Twitter.
But it shows how unhinged these people are, that you actually felt you had to reach out to us and tell us to go die because of an opinion on a cartoon show. And then when you call them out, like especially the She-Ra fans, you call them out and they're like, I'm just 14.
Yeah, how dare you, you're harassing a minor. Well, you didn't care about harassing people when you made the comments to begin with. And I've seen these minors harass other minors. Tell them to go kill themselves. Yeah. And then when you tell them their behavior is unacceptable, you're picking on me because I'm a minor. And you can't say that. You can't share my tweets because I'm a minor. Hey, sweet cheeks, if you post it publicly, yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, so stay off of Twitter. If you can't deal with the blowback, stay off of Twitter. But, the point they were trying to make on Geek Dad was it used to be that people would go to specific blogs on LiveJournal.
Right, and they could geek out there, and it wasn't like you weren't like making everybody else have to be part of your...
Right, now if you search for a tag, like on Tumblr, you'd search for a tag, you would have all these people being like, this is my ship, and this is my whatever, and we're going to do that. And it's like in your face. And I think that's what happens with Twitter, too, where people aren't going to individual sites that they agree with or whatever. It's just everything's getting retweeted and kind
of. And then you have to, and then it becomes the platform. And if you don't accept it or you think it's stupid or you question anything, it's obviously because you're just a terrible person who's against them personally because they can't separate themselves, the reality from the fiction.
Yeah, and that's that. I mean, that was legitimately scary. And now we're seeing that line being crossed into the real world, and I'm like, somebody going to do something stupid with, Jacksepticeye or Markiplier if that ship doesn't sail. Because it's not going to sail because they're 2 straight dudes that are just friends.
Right. How dare you?
No
one's going to change your sexuality and make you happy. Sorry.
No, they're not going to start OnlyFans.
Yeah, just like you keep insisting that, we wouldn't ask you to change your sexuality just to, to make us happy, which I wouldn't ask you to anyway because that's stupid. But anyway.
Yeah. But yeah. They talked about, the old school shippers were like, it was a fun little pastime. We're like, what if this character hooked up with this other character?
Like little stories for fun.
Yeah, and it was
fan
fun.
Fiction.
But they said now toxic shippers can't see the positives of shipping anymore. Things have become dark for whatever reason, and now they feel no choice but to take it out on other fans or the creators. Mm-hmm. There are many ways a ship can become toxic, and all the ways are visible with a quick look. If that's all people see at first glance, it gives the rest of us a bad name. The ship wars, a lot of them think they're... Yeah, it's like they're on a sports team or something. Like, I'm on team whatever, and then they're just trying to, but they don't realize that when you cross a line and you start attacking the creators, you start threatening people, and the shows that attract the shippers are the ones that, frankly, they are ship bait shows. Steven Universe,
She-Ra.
These shows kind of flirt with the shippers. They know that they can get an audience by sort of dangling that carrot and attracting the shippers. And She-Ra we always joke about She-Ra being a show for Tumblr by Tumblr. Mm-hmm. It's designed to appeal to these people. But
I think Steven Universe is too. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, but you get everything that goes with it. If you design a show to appeal to these people, do not be surprised when they turn on you. Don't be surprised when they threaten you.
When you make a joke about Bo's brother So, and then they make you go to like re-education classes and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think it's funny. They're like, yeah, how do we detox these shipping wars? It helps remember there's literally no stakes here.
Yeah.
If you win, nothing changes. We're not in charge. So destroying our opponents doesn't mean we suddenly have creative control and can eliminate their ship.
And then people that they go after the creators of these shows, it's like you wouldn't have these characters at all if the creators hadn't come up with them. And sometimes the creators have a plan for those characters and it's their damn characters. And you can make your fan fiction where it goes otherwise, but they don't owe you your ship.
No.
And you know what? If you don't like it, make up your actual real own thing that's not, you know, a knockoff of them.
This reminds me of Misery.
Yeah, well, I was going to say at least, you know, that's how I got to 50 Shades of Grey, though. So anyway, go ahead.
Well, that's true. That's true. It
Not Misery, the shipping. But
yeah,
go ahead.
the shipping. But it reminds me of Misery, where you know, the author killed off the character because he was tired of writing the character, and a psychotic fan kidnapped him and you know, was like, you have to bring this character back.
Broke his leg with a sledgehammer.
Yeah, and you got to bring this character back, and she's got to wind up with the guy I want her to wind up with, and that's whatever. So Annie was the original shipper, toxic shipper. You know, Misery was all about
I don't think
toxic
she was
shipping.
the original because that's what they based it on.
Yeah.
But I mean, she was the one that was one of the early ones that were called out. It was a piece of fiction calling this behavior out.
Yeah, and that was from Stephen King. Mm-hmm. So Stephen King, I'm sure, got his fair share. Now, it's so much easier now with social media to get a hold of creators, but I got to think that Stephen King got a bunch of wackadoo letters.
I'm sure.
And was like, why'd you do this? This is my favorite character.
It had to be based on bad behavior, but yeah. Hey, I ship you and me. I ship
us too.
I ship it.
Yeah, but they're talking about, you know, shipping actors are crossing a line. Fictional characters are one thing.
Right.
Attacking creators is more toxic. Then they go into talking about queer baiting, which is, again, I think it's ship bait. We're seeing this with cartoons. We're seeing this in cartoons that are for children, where they set up potential relationships. And then if they don't follow through with those potential relationships, the ship hits the fan.
Yeah, and then that's when they start calling people names like, well, you didn't give me, I wanted to see an LGBTQ whatever because I inserted it in there. You didn't give it to me. It's because you're against gay people.
Yeah.
Or against bi people or whatever. And it's stupid. It's just like, you know, you're asking for trouble. And if you get trouble for that kind of crap, you deserve it.
Yeah, it's bad, and it's crossed a line. It used to be something that some fans did for fun, just to be like, kind of, what if? I wish these characters would, if I were in charge, these characters would get together. But
and not every shipper does this.
No.
I mean, we know that's not true. Not every shipper, you know, behaves this way. But you have like Daisy Ridley talking about how she's still getting harassed about Raylo shippers.
Well, I mean, just to talk about how this has real world consequences too, the toxic behavior. You know, I did a couple videos on Shueisha, which is the company that owns Shonen Jump, and they're the publisher of One Piece and My Hero Academia and a bunch of other manga. And there was this copyright strike spree, and they think at the root of it was somebody obsessed over a YouTuber that they were going around and striking like in their name or whatever, and it had real world consequences because people were getting their Twitter accounts banned. But it's also garbage because Twitter should be looking into these people, making sure they're actually.
But they're not, because if it's like, oh, it leans the way we think it should or shouldn't, then that determines whether how much you look into it.
Yeah, so I mean, it's weird. Fandom is really weird right now, but it gets especially weird when you're dealing with real people. Yeah, there are people getting pissed when actors get married or whatever.
Yes. They're real people. They have lives just like you do.
No. They have lives like you don't. Because if you had a life, you wouldn't be harassing them for having their own life. You know, it's sick. It's sick. And I agree with Jacksepticeye, and yeah, don't do it. Just don't. Stop it. Stop it. Gonna wrap it up.
All right.
Talk to you later.
Bye.